start recording. Nice. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, to the first online meeting of the Goa Medical College Film Society. So just clap because we actually got this thing started. And I'm so glad to have you guys here with me. So yeah, initially we didn't open it up to everybody because I just want to see how this goes and how interactive everybody is and how we can improve it. Then we can open it to the whole college. Okay, so yeah, so let's begin. So today we decided that we do the film Anand. So Anand is a 1971 film directed by Hrishikesh Mukherjee. So most of us may know Hrishikesh Mukherjee because he's worked with Rajesh Khanna a lot, and his style of movie is usually he does very relatable movies, very movies centered around middle class society. So he doesn't make anything obscure or not relatable. He's always been very relatable to his audience, and he always makes movies about, let's say, middle class households. And in this particular movie, besides the story, it's a very great depiction of Bombay before it became a metropolis. The whole big multicultural Bombay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I have some background noise, but yeah. So it shows multicultural Bombay at its finest. So many communities, everybody living together, and just society in general. So it's not a big city yet, but it's not yet a metropolis, but it's already like a hub of immigration and urbanization. So that's what we see in this movie, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, to begin with, we'll start with obviously the Rajesh Khanna and Amitabh Bachchan. I mean, what more could be said about Rajesh Khanna in this movie? Is probably, in my opinion, his best ever role. Um, I have not seen another actor act like this. Probably, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I've not seen another actor portray this kind of role ever. Maybe Robin Williams in Hollywood, but I don't see anybody else who could match Rajesh Khanna in the role of Anand. So it was probably the highlight of his career. And on the other hand, we have Amitabh Bachchan, and this was probably his first film that made him a household name. I think Amitabh Bachchan, in a series of tweets, I think he very clearly said that how nobody knew him, but after this movie, when he went to a particular gas station to fill petrol, immediately people came running up to him and said, "Oh, you're Amitabh Bachchan from Anand." And that's kind of how he became a household name, and it catapulted him into his career of stardom. So yeah, and you can see, unlike Amitabh Bachchan's subsequent roles, he's very happy to play a supporting character here, and he plays it par excellence. I mean, the serious, brooding doctor who just wants to do his stuff, and I wouldn't say emotionless because he's a very emotional person, but he's very dedicated, and he just loves his profession. He's not a very expressive person, but he's very dedicated and very pure as a character. And yeah, in the short duration of the film, we can see so much growth of Amitabh Bachchan, the actor and the character. So to begin with the iconic dialogue, I mean, Babu Moshai, Zindagi और मौत के खेल में हम सब कठपुतली हैं. I mean, what more could be said, right? It probably sums up the film. It's just how we're just a puppet in the hands of fate. And this is actually like a Shakespearean quote because we're all actors on a stage. But this has a bit more depth to it because as actors on a stage, you have freedom to play a part. But what this particular quote said that, hey, we don't have the freedom. We're just controlled by fate and we have to accept it. So I want everybody to open up and discuss about this. I mean, what do you think about this particular dialogue and the role of fate in the movie and in life in general? I mean, maybe Anish could start and then people will carry on.
Okay, I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the movie it was generally an eye opener for all of us, and not only just about how Ashwin started off with how it talks about Bombay before the metro era, and how it talks about the diversity in the country. It highlights a lot of these important things and virtues that we often tend to forget. It talks about fate, it talks about death and life. It also talks about the need to remain happy, and it talks about the lifestyle that Rajesh Khanna has portrayed to Anand. Um, on the medicine side, it also talks about Dr. Banerjee and his way of medicine, how he likes to look at things, and how he's always the pro-patient kind of a man. While Dr. Kulkarni on the other side is a more balanced, and he talks about how he, in order to help the poor, he also tends to tends to but yeah, he tries to cater to a more diverse band of practicing medicine. So it is the movie which has spoken about a lot of things under one banner, and for me that was the major highlight.
Yeah. Anybody else would like to give their take on this particular thing, especially the quote and the dialogue from the film? Um, it's open to anybody, so just unmute yourself and start talking. I mean, if you like.
I guess I'll go.
Yeah. Please.
So I think in the past it was very common to believe in fate and say that hey, हम जिंदगी और मौत के बीच में कठपुतली है. But I think now it is like people are skeptical about the whole fate issue and the destiny thing. Very valid too, but I do believe that hey, fate does have a role to play. So I think I relate strongly to this dialogue as such, and I think we've forgotten how to be as positive as Anand is in this movie, even though he knows he's gonna die. So I think it's important. It's like a small reminder that hey, you and even if you don't know that you're gonna die soon, you should still remain positive because you never know when you will die, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my 2 cents.
Anybody else would like to give their opinion? Shrish, Anup?
I feel that that fate will decide and all.
Yeah.
You can listen now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So fate is like your screen time, and the character you will play is you. So you have to decide. So
Yes.
fate is just a screen time. Whatever, like his thing was, he wants to make people laugh.
Yes.
That was his character, and you choose your character.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think, and what Anup says. Yeah, sorry, go on, Anup.
Yeah, so that's all. Like fate won't decide everything. It will just decide like it depends on it. All depends on you how you will do it.
Yes.
You know.
Perfect.
So that's like I don't feel like fate will decide. Fate, yeah, just like not fate won't decide everything for you. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Shrish, you have something to say? I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah. See, I just wanted to point out that fate has roots in belief, right? So it's very interesting to see how Dr. Bhaskar changes his views on belief. As we see in the beginning of the movie, he's not very into he's a very kind of say like what you say, atheist kind of person who doesn't believe in God. But during the end of the movie, when Raghu Kaka says that he wants to go to the temple to pray for Anand, he's very progressive with it. He's like he has started to believe in some of it at least. It is very to see that the belief in Anand, Dr. Bhaskar's belief in Anand, has led him to believe in fate itself as a whole.
And I think I'd like to add a small thing to Shrish's part here. I think this is very evident in the end of the movie when we see Dr. Bhaskar running to find homeopathic cures. He's been a very staunch believer in his medicine and allopathy. But at the end, he's willing to do anything. He said, "No, I know this homeopathic doctor," and he runs away to find that homeopathic doctor. And I think that's actually an excellent point Shrish brought up. But yeah, I think what all of you said is a good way to segue into my next point, which I want to bring up in discussion is, I think the two main parts of dialogue in this movie were, first was the quote about how we are just puppets in the hand of fate. We can't do anything. But the second thing Anand says that I thought is very contrasting to what happened in the beginning, what the quote about the Katputhli. He says, Zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi. And I think this is a very beautiful thing. Because even though the whole film says, hey, we are just resigned to fate and fate will do it, we have to just make the best of what we have in fate. And I think this is the perfect thing because even though we are helpless in the hands of fate, even though we have 6 months to live, I remember that one quote where Dr. Bhaskar says, do you know you have liposarcoma of the intestine? Do you know what that means? And Anand just calmly says that, hey, you know, what's your age? 30? So 100 minus 30 is about 70. You have 70 years to live and I have 6 months. But that's not the point. The point is not the length of it. The point is how big your life is. I think that's a really beautiful thing we can take away from the film, you know, because even though we have no control about how long our life is, we do have control over how big our life is, how much impact we make in our life. So yeah, does anybody have something to say about that? Shikha, would you like to say something here?
Yeah, I feel that it was a reminder for us that we should live each day as if it could be our last day or something.
Yeah.
And about the fate thing, I found it true that life can be unpredictable, but I guess now it's a little better because of the advancements in the treatment and stuff. Because that was in 1971. So I
Yeah.
guess now we have more treatment and medicine has advanced. So I guess it's a little better now. But yeah, it was a nice film.
Yeah. And so
Am I
yeah.
audible?
Yes, Mansi, go ahead, please.
Hi, I would like to add something to the previous quote.
Yeah.
Like he said that "Hum bas Katputhli aaye." So I feel we are only humans and we have a limited we are only limited in our acts. We can't, like, some things happen by nature and we can't control that. So we try to name it fate. And I think that's what he did, because that was not something which was very treatable at that point, because he was in his third stage. And so he just said that it's just fate. And I can't do anything about it. If he could have done it, I don't think he would have named it fate. But
Yeah.
I think because it was not, that's why he named it fate.
Yeah, I think that's also really important, Mansi. How he had no control over the circumstances, and he did that's what the time was, like Shika said and Mansi said. It just you can't do anything. Yeah, Anish.
Yeah. So the Zindagi badi honi chahiye lambi nahi. It's an iconic dialogue, and it has it has its roots in the movie, but I think it applies to today's generation as well. This brings me to another quote that I came across. I think it was from Dalai Lama, in which he speaks about how we live our entire life like we are never going to die, and we die never having lived. So
Yeah,
he talks about how a lot of us in today's generation, in today's world, um, we often waste our happiness and our health in order to there are people who go after money or monetary value, but at the end of the day, life comes back a full circle, and you end up spending the same money and the wealth that you've gained in order to search for happiness and health. And in times such as today with the COVID and all of this uncertainty, you never know when can be your last day. So I think it makes us believe in the fact that we need to prioritize what matters to us and prioritize our happiness and our health over the other monetary things in life.
yeah. I think an important thing we can say the beauty of the dialogue in this film. So the dialogue was influenced and actually written a lot by Gulzar. So Gulzar is in his essence a beautiful poet. He's a beautiful poet, and the lines he penned for this particular movie are eternal, like most of his poetry, right? They're really eternal. So I think the balance between Gulzar's dialogue and Yogesh, who actually is wrote the lyrics for a lot of the songs. Like he said, one of the songs was "Maine Teve Liye." What's the one? "Maine Teve Liye Saat Saat Rang Ke Sapne." Right. That's one of the, yeah, right. I think I was right. So That's just such a beautiful song, and it just because like of my ability, I'm giving you everything, and I'm giving you the world. I'm giving you my dreams, and I think that just shows how selfless you can be, and how much happiness can be derived from making other people happy. Yeah. Anybody else wants to contribute here?
Yeah, Ashwin, I think I'll not be stretching it when I say that that line about Zindagi should be the Zindagi lambi nahi honi chahiye, bada hona chahiye. It's like the OG YOLO. Uh,
Yeah,
for
precisely.
Leo.
It is
So
1971 YOLO, exactly.
So, and one more thing, I feel the songs in the movie, like you said, the lyrics have its own thing, but
Yes.
even the songwriter himself, he's made it very subtle the way he puts the songs out. He doesn't want to overpower the lyrics. At the same time, he gives it a beautiful texture to it. It's like very peaceful when you hear those songs. So yeah, I just want to point
Yeah.
that out.
Anisha, Sia, you all have not contributed here. Do you all want to say something at this point?
I just think that in these pandemic times, movie was like a nice positive outlook on life, and like we're so bored at home and we are all like stressed and everything when our parents go for work and everything. So I think this just helps us to maintain like a positive outlook and just like be happy with them and try to make the most out of it, I guess.
Yeah, very true, Anisha. Sia, you have something to say?
I really don't want to add to anything. I agree with whatever you guys said, especially the dialogue, which was
Yeah,
actually so.
yeah. Okay, so I shall now proceed to the next part. And what I found really beautiful about the movie was how he went on touching lives. The whole Murali Lal concept was, I found it so beautiful and pure. Just go and wax. I think I've got a nice picture of just that. Yeah, and like, oops, this moment. I mean, all of the Murali Lals in his life, he didn't need an excuse to make a friend. He didn't need an excuse to touch somebody's life. So whether it was the random Murali Lal on the street he made smile, or for that matter, I loved the transformation we saw in Nurse Disa. So from a woman who was just yelling at him and said, "Hey, you need to behave yourself. You're sick," but he kind of transformed her outlook. And for that matter, most of the women in the movie, they are like, the society at that time, I think it's a reflection of society at that time, and it's a reflection of how male dominated it was. But even though the women were prominent here, they were always seemed to be protected, except Nurse Disa, obviously, who was in the thick of things. But all the wives and the love interest of the characters were very protected from the truth about life. But I love to see how he touched each and everyone's life, whether it was Suman or it was Renu. He made everybody fall in love with him and his purity. And I loved how he transformed Nurse Disa from the strict matron to the lovable mother. I found that extremely beautiful and extremely pure. And all his Murali Lal moments, or even for that matter, when he went to the Sadhuji, he's just his outlook. He didn't say, he said that, hey, all these people are praying for my body, but my body is going to go anyway. I want you to pray for my mind, and my mind remains sharp and beautiful forever. I think that was just beautiful how he just makes everybody happy around him. And I would like to, like, just point. I'm just going to go through all the beautiful cameos we have in this movie and all the beautiful lives he's touched. Like this wrestler, this is actually Dara Singh, who's actually had a cameo in this movie. So Dara Singh, the wrestler, and how immediately, within the 5 minutes he spent with Dara Singh in this movie, he transformed him immediately. Dara Singh will do anything for him. I'm ready to take on whoever is come to fight with you, because of that beauty. Same way Nurse Disa is like, I am ready. I'm your mother now. I've adopted you, or even Renu's mom for that matter. That you're my family now. And finally, we have Johnny Walker, the beautiful cameo of Johnny Walker as Isabai. We can see that how, this was the first actually Murali Lal who he met, because he just played the thing. He was an actor and he just played the game on and on and on. And there's such a beautiful exchange, and the joy in Anand's face when he found his match. You know, he found somebody who could battle him with wits, and that was Isabai in this movie. So yeah, does anybody have anything to contribute about how he touched so many people's lives in the movie?
I think I have something to say. So I think what was beautiful is that to be able to do that, he had to lose the fear of judgment, which I think a lot of us have now. And I think he could do it because he's like, hey, I'm probably going to like die in a few months anyway. So I'd rather like not care about judgment and touch other people's lives and make a difference for them. But I feel like we need to kind of lose because, as I said before, we really don't know when we're going to die. So we should just start trying to help others and do stuff that would make us happy, irrespective of whether it actually no. We should keep in mind others' happiness too. But like, if we can make two people's lives happy and just not care about what other people think about us, I think it's really important that we do that.
Yeah. Shirish?
I just wanted to point out that there's a beautiful parallel between Anand's Murari Lal concept and Patch Adams' like random telephone number he calls.
Yes.
He calls people and talks to them for hours, like old people, young people, makes them happy. Like it just shows you how close to Dr. Anand could have been. Like he's kind of an emotional doctor, if you want to say. He uplifted people, but you know, like Patch Adams was actually a doctor, and Anand was like a doctor for all the people he touched emotionally.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning also, I think the closest person I found to Rajesh Khanna's Anand would be Robin Williams. And they just had such a similar outlook and similar way of acting out this particular type of role. So yeah, Patch Adams is a great parallel to this. Yeah, Anish, you were about to say something?
Yeah. Anand is such a lively character, right? And he's a friend that all of us would love to have around us. But I may be going on a tangent here, but I just wanted to have everybody's opinions on whether do you all actually think that he was as happy on the inside as his character turned out to be? Because he was always about getting others happy and making an impact on others' lives. But there were certain instances in the movie where we found a certain glimpse into his own personal life that wasn't really highlighted. But yeah, there were quite a few, down moments and things that he was upset about as well. So I just wanted to know if the others also feel that he was as happy on the inside, or
Yeah.
I think okay.
Yeah, go ahead,
Sorry.
Diksha. Go ahead,
Can I
Diksha.
go?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hi. So
Anisha, yeah.
I think it was like a mix of his amazing extrovert behavior, but also it's like fake it till you make it. So he was just trying to be happy on the outside so that he could forget all his troubles away. That's what we think. Which is like actually a better way than rather than just brooding over the fact that you have less time to live and instead using it to the fullest, I guess.
Yeah. Diksha, I think you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say that I mean, it's inevitable to be sad a few times, but I think he was satisfied with the impact that he made. It obviously was, I mean, hey, like his love got married to somebody else, and he kind of has to live himself forever. But I think he was also satisfied somewhere that, hey, I did make a difference. And I'm happy that people care for me, like random people that I met, like now they care for me. Like it just by he was like he met him like 2 minutes ago, and then he's sad about his death and stuff. Like I don't think anyone would be sad about that.
I have that beautiful clip from which I thought was really beautiful about like this particular thing. Oh, we have just 10 minutes in the meeting, so we'll just try to. I just got a notification, but yeah, I think this is a really beautiful scene because the amount of emotion that Isabai had in this particular scene, it was like he kept a straight face because he's an actor. In front of Anand, he played the role. But as soon as he left the role, he broke down completely. And that's about how much he touched people's lives. But yeah, just to build upon what we have been discussing now, there are a few points, like Anish had said, there are a few points in the movie where we see his humanity. I think there's that one song sequence. I think before the song sequence, we can say that when he's giving blessing to what's her name, the Kulkarni's wife, Suman, when he's blessing her, he's like, I can't even say that may the years of my life be yours. And that's a very sad thing because you can see he wants to do good, but he knows he's unable to. He can't even bless the woman properly because he can't. It's just not in his caliber, or not in his, like, he's not able to do it. And another thing, we can see how he is hiding his emotion just because that Sony tape recorder of his, as soon as Renu plays he plays the recording he was listening to, and it's a recording of his love. It's a recording of the woman he loves, and how he selflessly gave up the woman he loved to just say, hey, listen, I am not the right person for you. Because the path, if you choose me as your path, is just a path of sadness, and it's just going to end terribly for you. And I am going to be happy knowing that you are happy with another man. And I think that's the most selfless thing we see him do. And we know that he is hurting internally. He's hurting internally, but he just doesn't want to. He knows that the most beautiful dialogue, I think, the most beautiful, even like, I think Gulzar outdid himself with this particular line of dialogue. He said that, listen, my pain, I don't remember the exact Hindi dialogue, but he says, Babu Moshai, my pain is my personal pain, and my happiness is everybody else's happiness. That one line of dialogue, he says that my pain is my pain. I don't want to share it with anybody. Please go away from me. And I think that kind of shows how deeply pained and hurt he was as a human, how human he was in general. And by the end of the movie also, how he says, I don't want to die. It just shows his humanity. It shows how much he loves life. And it's a sad parallel how the person who loves life the most has to let go. I mean, yeah. I think Shrish was waiting a while. Shrish, what do you want to add to this?
Yeah, like when Anish talked about that like even you talked about the humanity part, I was just going to talk about that conversation between the Dr. Bhaskar and Anand after that song, Kahin Dur Jab Din Dal Jaye. They're like, after seeing the sadness in Anand, Dr. Bhaskar asks him, you have so much sadness in you, why don't you share it with us? And he's like you said, that is the only thing I have, and I want to keep it personal. I want to spread the happiness. And that was you said whatever I had to say, but want to have it.
The rest, Anup, Anisha, Sia, you'll have something to say? Mansi?
I do. So the one takeaway that I will get from this movie is like how he chose his own family, because he doesn't have family, so he was like choosing his own family.
Yes.
And making these amazing connections, and that was like the important takeaway. So
he didn't have his own family.
That is a nice. I'm going to use that pickup line. Just go anywhere. Hi, Murari.
Shikha, Anup, Sia, Mansi, you have something to say? Anyone?
I think I like to add just like a last point.
Yeah,
that I think his wish that what he asked the Guruji that, hey, I want to be eternal. I want my mind to be eternal. I feel like Dr. Banerjee helped him with that. I mean, once you're a character in a book, you kind of are eternal. So I just wanted to say that I think Guruji got his wish come true.
Yes, precisely. And I think a perfect end to the movie would be the whole symbolism of the tape recorder. So I think the tape recorder played a much deeper role in the movie than just being a tape recorder, because it doesn't just symbolize recording and it doesn't symbolize just his love for recording, which it does, but I think it symbolizes how even after we go, we can leave something behind for the people we love. the tape recorder symbolized that. It symbolized that how you can leave so much emotion behind. You can leave so much of yourself behind by just touching people's lives. You can leave, it symbolizes memory, it symbolizes emotion that is probably eternal. And that the beautiful scene, I had to put it in here. This one, the beautiful scene where he just said, no, I want you to say a poem. And that's probably one of Gulzar's most beautiful poems ever. And like, it just, um, it just deals with death in a different way that I've not seen ever before, but how he preserved the moments of sadness and death, transforming into happiness and enjoyment. I think that's what Anand symbolized, and that's what he left behind, which is portrayed beautifully in this scene. And with the end, at the end of the movie, where he says, turn on the tape recorder, and just when Dr. Bhaskar is grieving and saying that, hey, you can't leave me now. After you've been talking to me for so long, you filled my life with your stupid babbling. You can't go now. And that's when the tape recorder starts playing, and it plays a beautiful moment of theirs with Gulzar's beautiful poem and their laughter. The movie ends not with sadness, but with laughter. And I think that is what Anand actually was about, and what the character and the movie was about, and what Hrishikesh Mukherjee tried to say. He says that we leave behind what we leave behind. Our body is not going to remain here, but we are going to live eternally in the emotion we give people and the memories we create. And that's what the tape recorder meant. And that happiness in the end, that even though Anand was gone, he's going to live forever, and he's going to be the light of all these people's lives, all of them. And I think that's a beautiful way to end this particular session, because I just have 1 minute more on my meeting time. So I think we shall bring this to a close with that, on that note of touching lives and remaining eternal in people's memories. And that's probably how we should start living our lives, and it's probably how we should look, our outlook on life should be like, hey, touch as many souls as we can, touch as many lives as we can. And, yeah. I don't know. Sorry about that. I think we've just had people joining. Anyway, so yeah, I think with that we shall close our meeting down, because we're out of time. I'd love that all of you join back for next week, and I think I'll curate something a bit different tomorrow. I thought of doing Bawarchi, another collaboration of Hrishikesh Mukherjee and Rajesh Khanna, but I'll see. I might think of something on the other side of the Pacific, like a Hollywood movie next time. So let's see. But thank you so much all for joining. I think this was a brilliant start to our club, and I hope this grows into bigger and bigger booths, and I hope we can do this offline someday, and we can actually sit and watch the movie together and then discuss it after. So thank you all for joining me today, and joining all of us today, and having this beautiful session. I think we all enjoyed this and learned a lot. So thanks everybody, and have a beautiful evening, and I hope this message remains with you forever. Thank you.